Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the largest gated community in North America, spanning 26,000 acres in the Ouachita Mountains in south central Arkansas. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and some occasional guests as we explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live, kvre.com. HSV Inside Out is sponsored by Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman's Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there. Also sponsored by McGraw Realtors, located in the heart of Hot Springs Village, the fastest growing real estate office with over 30 agents and staff. Executive brokers Lori and Ken Henderson, along with realtor and waterfront specialist Rick Marshall, they're eager to share the special features of Hot Springs Village with you. For a complimentary relocation packet, call Ken and Lori at 501-276-3018 or Rick Marshall at 501-601-RICK. They are McGraw Realtors of Hot Springs Village. Another spring day inside Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. We're at the Cedar Creek Trail. Rhonda's with me. No, we're not going to be on camera. Surprises. Now that we've spent the better part of a year splitting time between here and Dallas-Fort Worth, what are the surprises? Any surprises that come to your mind, Rhonda, over the last year?
No, not really.
Things that you didn't know or you weren't aware of?
We've made so many trips over here through the years. It's just kind of surprising that we finally made it here.
I watched a YouTube video of a person that I have followed for a long time. He embarked on a journey toward minimalism and met his soon-to-be wife a few years ago. She was from Australia, and recently they made a decision to leave America for good. He had his reasons, and he states them in a video. And chief among them was they just couldn't find community, which I found, interesting. They had lived in New York City. That didn't do it. They moved to California, and then they moved to Pennsylvania. Not necessarily a surprise for me, because I've talked about it before. I'm a sucker for moving water.
There's a trail.
You can't really hear it because I've got the microphone aimed at me, but at any rate, he does this video about moving to Australia, specifically to Sydney. And of course her family is there, so that's beneficial, but he's obviously many hours of flight time away from his family here back in the States. But he said he went there for community. And that's one of the pleasant things here. I've talked about it before. Growing up in cities, as I have, even though I was born in a small town in Oklahoma, I have enough memory of grandparents, grandfathers particularly, going to eat breakfast at, a local diner, running into all the other business guys and folks in town. And I would shuttle meals and baked goods made by my grandmother to neighbors. Just something you do in a small town. So I do have memory of that as a little boy, but I really didn't grow up other than really early elementary school years. I didn't grow up with that kind of sense of community. And you get to a big city and it's very common for people to not have too much awareness of who the neighbors are or to know them very well. And that's been a change here. We've gotten to know the folks around us a little bit. And if you are a recluse, then don't be scared off by that, because you can still be a recluse if you want to be. But the great thing is getting to know folks. And I don't mean you know everybody's business. It's not like that. But there is a sense of community that I feel more than any other place that I've been. Growing up in a big city. I don't know about Rhonda, but she's gotten to know some of the neighbors as well. That just feels different to me than any place we've ever lived before. We've talked about this trail before, and like many of the trails, you can walk as much or as little as you want. You can see why this is, I think this is the most popular trail in the village. I really don't think it has a peer. Number one, it's reasonably flat. You are out in the middle of the woods. There are obviously creeks. It's called the Cedar Creek Trail. So there are a bunch of trails, a bunch of creeks, and I don't know how many miles of trails in here there are, but there's a lot of them. It's a popular trail for dog walking and pretty much everybody else too. So no surprises, no pleasant surprises or otherwise for you, Rhonda? It's not a real compelling video, but you can enjoy this stroll with us at least.
I'm trying to think if I've had any surprises.
Well, something unexpected, something maybe you didn't consider. Let's talk about money, because everybody and their dog wants to know about money and the cost of living here. And to that, what would you say? Nothing? Just more water. Lots of water. We've got a dog walker that we're going to let go by. She's corralling her two critters. I think she's going to wait for us. So back to the money and the cost of living, which the fellow that I referred to who moved to Australia, one of the things he commented about was
They have national health care in Australia, and of course his wife is Australian. I'm not sure if he's going to give up his American citizenship or what, but it's his decision. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it doesn't matter. It's his life. He can do what he wants. He talked about how nice it was to not have to worry about cost of insurance and things like that. He did admit taxes were considerably higher. So nothing's free. Things that you think are free, nah, not so much. Here for us in the village, and we frankly have the best of both worlds, so I'll admit that bias. We are Texas residents who split our time between Dallas-Fort Worth and here. The disadvantage of Texas, the huge disadvantage, any homeowner over there will tell you, is the cost of property tax. And it's criminally high. We sold our house in DFW, and we decided to not continue to be property owners. And so we can avoid that expense. That's big. Property taxes here in Arkansas are, I don't know, 25% of what they are in Texas. And because we're Texas residents, there's no income tax for us. There is money that is earned when we're here that we pay taxes on. But even with the tax bill, and as kind of convoluted as that can be for people that are in our situation, it's remarkably cheaper. It's still extraordinarily cheaper than living elsewhere, even in north central Texas. Cost of food and other things like that, we haven't noticed any difference. Gasoline is cheaper in Texas. Historically, over the last year, I would say gasoline seems to be a dime a gallon, give or take, cheaper in Texas than here. I don't know that that's significant enough of a difference, but it is a difference. Cost of groceries and that sort of stuff, can't tell you that we've noticed any real difference. And since we both do collect Social Security, we have that revenue stream. I've confessed to you before that we're both retirement age, but neither one of us are retired. Rhonda still works remotely for a surgeon back in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I do my executive coaching, and my clients in that business are all in Texas, and much of that is remote, but a considerable amount of that is also in person. Reason for us splitting our time back and forth, that and 5 grandkids. But the cost of living for us, coming from north central Texas, from a big city, Dallas-Fort Worth, I can tell you minimally is a $2,000 swing in favor of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. And we talk to people that are from all over the country. I've yet to talk to somebody that can't maintain or elevate their lifestyle and do it with less money here Arkansas is, if not the top place, one of the top states for people to retire to for that very reason. It's very affordable. One of the other big things that I hear from you is about the weather, and you're looking at it. You're not going to see a cloud. And while I don't suppose any place has perfect weather other than San Diego, and if you like 75 degree every day, these astronauts that got rescued, one of the first things the lady said is when she got out of the capsule, it was just kind of good to feel weather, which you don't think about for people in space. It was good to feel a breeze. So we do have weather, but it's very moderate. I think it's moderate even in the summer. People from northern climates that aren't accustomed to having air conditioning, they would argue with me and say it's hot here. But if you're a southern person like we are, summers are very mild here. You know, we're accustomed to triple-digit heat in the summer months, $700-800 utility bills in the summer, just to try to keep your house comfortable where you're not sweating. That is not the case here. We came over here so frequently since 2018. We had a real good grip of kind of what we were stepping into. And I know other people have come over here and in their very first visit put offers in on houses, and that's great. If you're in a position to do that, and hopefully our show helps you figure that out. We didn't have a show like this, which was really the impetus for starting this show, is we just couldn't find anything out about this place. There was no program that showed this stuff off and that explained what life here might be like, or what the cost of living might be like, or what the weather might be like, or what housing costs and things might be like. All right, we're at a fork in the road. Where are we going?
Let's see, do we want to go to the creek part? Walk along the water's
Yeah,
edge?
sure. All of the paths in here are named after birds. This is the cardinal path.
You got hit by a tree.
And each of these is kind of a little fork off of the main trail.
It's a bunch of loops.
Yeah, a lot of loops. During one visit that we made back when we were doing Airbnb as renters, not as hosts, we came down here and there was an abandoned Harley Davidson that was in the creek bed.
On the other side.
Yeah, it had been pushed into the creek bed. Went and looked at it. I didn't touch it. Called the police. Police came out here. We walked them down here. And turns out it was stolen. Somebody had abandoned it here. Which kind of brings me to safety in the village. You've got between 16 and 18,000 citizens who live here. So if you get that many people in a place, not everybody's going to behave the way they should. So we are going to have some crime. It's ridiculously low compared to outside the gates. And I can tell you the number one crime inside the village is scammers. Because because this is an aging population, and we are sadly the target of con artists and scammers. And it is, I'm told by Chief Bennett, it is the number one crime in here. People being financially duped. And the sad thing is, these are crimes that are so difficult to track down and trace and prosecute. So I gotta encourage you, no matter where you live, no matter what your age, be very, very careful. Smartphones are your friend. They can also be a huge vulnerability. Text messages that have links and people click on it, and next thing you know, identities are stolen, or people are conned out of their money believing that they are paying something that's legit. Some of the other crimes that you'll see in a police blotter, in the police report, that you can see at the paper, the Hot Springs Village Voice, there will be a degree of domestic abuse occasionally. There will be drugs occasionally. And not that domestic abuse isn't a violent crime, but crimes with guns and murders and that sort of stuff are pretty rare. It's a very safe community. And yes, you should lock your doors, but many people will admit if they go out on a stroll like we're on, they may not. Yes, we do. I've also talked to you about having a Ring camera, actually multiple Ring cameras, and I love them primarily because when we're not home, we can see what's going on. Speaking of seeing, I'll let you see some of the greenery that's sprouted since spring has sprung. Some other people walk by us here without interrupting them or invading their privacy. So the place is very, very safe, and I know that it's top five. It's top five. Cost of living, cost of housing, climate, safety and security, the weather. These are the things that I hear about every day from you, and so keep on asking. We'll keep on trying to address the issues, and we're trying to do for you what we just couldn't find any forum that did that for us. We just had to continue to make trips over here, and thankfully we were able to make a large number of trips over here. 5-hour drive for us from Dallas-Fort Worth. So every time we had some time off, or we could even have an extended weekend, we came over here, including holidays. So all that was beneficial for us, but it just took a long time. We had to learn this stuff over time. And even then, we still had a bunch of questions. I'm a sucker for these. These holes in trees. And up here's where we saw the abandoned Harley motorcycle some years ago.
And the police surmised they rode along the creek bed from outside the village to get in.
Yeah, it's another question we get asked about the gates and easy access. I commonly tell people it's a little bit like a locked car. If a thief really wants in your car, you can lock it. You can do anything you want to do. If they want your car, they're going to get it. If some nefarious character wants to get inside the village, they're going to get inside the village. The good thing is that just doesn't happen very often. But access to get in here is not, it's a barrier of entry. To get in the main gates, the manned gates, which unless you have an ID card, which has a chip in it, which will activate the gate when you're coming in, you can go out, exit any of these gates, but you can't get in unless you have a card and you're a member of the POA, the Property Owners Association. You can't enter unless you go into the manned gates, and then you've got to check in. You'll be greeted by a gate security guard, and they will ask you your business. And if, for instance, you rent an Airbnb place, you will give them the name of your host, and your host will have already registered you as visiting, or if you're a family member, the gate will already know. They'll look on the list, find your name, and then they'll give you a pass, and that pass has written on it the dates of your visit, and you leave that in the dash of your car while you're here. There's a lot of workers, and they have pass access because they provide services in here. There may be people out in the community who attend one of the many churches here, and so they will have access that they can get. Again, they've got to go through the main gate.
And everybody's on videotape coming in and out.
Yeah, and that wasn't the case, I don't think, when we first started coming over here. I think the video surveillance, the 24-hour video surveillance, is something in more recent years. So the gates are a good thing. Everybody is in favor of the gates. Probably one of the larger downsides of being a gated community is not being able to be a municipality. The gates are a primary reason why this is a property owners association, and that's our form of governance. And because these are gated communities, the community is responsible for the infrastructure. We're responsible for the roads. We're responsible for the water and sewage. Electricity, yes, provided by those companies that work in these various counties. But because we are not a municipality, the POA does not have any taxation authority and doesn't directly benefit from any taxes that may be collected. It's more complicated than that. I'm simplifying it so you don't get in the weeds, but most everybody that we talk to will tell you we like the gates. We like the gates just like we may enjoy locking our cars if we go park somewhere. It's a deterrent. And that deterrent is not just imagined, it's real. So there's that. After a year of being a considerable resident here, I can tell you no unpleasant surprises, which was really the question that I set out to answer when we started this video.
I did think of one surprise. I was surprised to see the amount of people that are younger than us. I expected everybody to be our age or older, and there's quite a few younger families here, children. That was kind of surprising. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, if you go eat at any of the restaurants, that's where it's, for me, really noticeable. If you go to any of the golf course restaurants, the younger folks playing golf. Of course, at some point when you get old, everybody's younger. So we got that going for us. I have not had any, well, I didn't see that coming, and that's not real good. I haven't had a single one of those moments, and we're honest enough and candid enough, we'd tell you. I just haven't. I will tell you the negatives that we hear, particularly from people who have not moved here, but may have visited here. The foodies are disappointed. Well, there needs to be fine dining, there needs to be this, there needs to be that. That's not us, so I'm completely unqualified to say too much about it, other than as a non-foodie, I don't get it. You can drive 45 minutes to Little Rock, and whatever kind of cuisine you want, you'll find it. There's a lot of different choices here inside the gates, including nice Italian food, Mexican food, obviously the classic American kind of stuff, just smorgasbord of whatever you want, pizza. But we're not fine diners, so you'll have to talk to somebody else who cares about that. But we're frugal. We don't live fancy, and we don't eat fancy. You hear about shopping too. Well, but what's the shopping like? My smart aleck answer is always the same. I have no idea what these things are, but they still fascinate me. Yeah, it's a fungus, but that's about all I know. It's really amazing. And this tree has been here for a good long while. And every time we come by it, I stop and take pictures. My smart aleck answer to people that go, well, but what's the shopping like? I'm like, it's super convenient, just like it is where you live. It's called Amazon.com. They got pretty much anything and everything you want. Wayfair, big player for people that are looking for furniture and stuff. We've got Kelsey's, a nice furniture shop just outside the West Gate. They got some really nice stuff. So if you're shopping for stuff like that, we've got Southern Flooring outside the West Gate. So if you move here and you're looking to remodel and you need flooring, they're a great resource. But, just that ordinary, I want to go shopping. Again, you can go to Hot Springs, about 25 minutes away, depending on where you live inside the village. Go to Little Rock the other direction. And if you got to go to a big city, Dallas is 4 hours away. You want to go to the Fort Worth side, which is where we're from, add an hour. So you can go make a weekend of that. Some of the younger people have said it, and I think it's wise. I wouldn't have said this when I was in my 40s, but I got great respect for these younger people who've moved here. It's like we can live in this peace and tranquility, and we can go visit the big city. We can live in the big city, and we can go visit this. They have chosen to live here and visit the city. I think that's smart. Wish I'd have thought of it. But like many of you, I did not grow up in a remote working world. I'm glad to be in one now. There's the rare airplane that you hear. That's the other thing when you come from a place like Dallas-Fort Worth.
We lived 6 miles from the DFW airport.
Yeah, we weren't in a flight path or anything, but it was just always jets in the sky. It wasn't a noise factor, but you could see them and you could see the stream they left behind. The most eerie day for us was 9/11. Rhonda had purchased a new Honda Accord that we were going to pick up, and we watched the 9/11 events unfold on the Today Show that morning. And the eerie thing, aside from traffic being non-existent, was there were no planes in the sky. And I had never seen that in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I haven't seen it since. But here, occasionally you can look up and you can see, at 30,000 feet, you can see some jet streaking across the sky. Other than the occasional medevac helicopter, which is across Lake Coronado from where we live. That's the helipad. You don't hear a lot of aircraft noise. I've said it before, the biggest downside is in the fall, leaf blowers. It's the scourge. Is it life-threatening? No. Is it peace disrupting? Yeah. Is it insufferable? Can be. But I don't want to overstate it either. But man, when the leaves fall,
they're everywhere.
The leaf blowers are everywhere. So otherwise, really, really peaceful, really quiet, strong sense of community, very safe, ridiculously affordable, even in today's economy. And as Rick Marshall told you in last month's real estate update, currently kind of a buyer's market, especially if you have interest in buying an older home that has not yet been renovated. You can save some money if you are ambitious enough and care enough to do your own renovation. We're not going to take it. We're going to head back to the car, but I'll show you another. So this is the Morning Dove path. It's 0.6 miles. It's also a place where you can improve your fitness. I haven't done that, and that's my own fault. having both knees scoped slowed me down, so I'm just now kind of getting back into the swing of things. But it's a walking community, and we've kind of determined that we're going to walk twice a day. We already walked this morning, so we're crowding 6 o'clock now. And we figured this was a perfect time to come over here. It's about 70 degrees. We hadn't been to Cedar Creek since things have begun to bud out. And we'll keep visiting these places so you can kind of see what they look like, because I realize that many of you, in fact, I dare say most of you that I'm hearing from, you live more than 5 hours away. So your ability to come and frequent the place as much as Rhonda and I did, I know it's just not practical. So hopefully we can be your eyes and ears, help answer some questions, get your imagination rolling, make you wish that you were here. There's another tree hole. And hopefully spur you to come and visit. We didn't do it, but it's also a reason, and I don't do it just because McGraw Realtors are sponsors of the show. Whether it's McGraw or any of the other fine realtors inside the village, I would encourage you, if you've got the foggiest notion of eventually buying a house here, or buying a house here and renting it out for a couple of years before you make this place your home, you would be advised to make an appointment with a realtor. These are folks that can show you things, really shorten the learning curve. We didn't do that because we didn't know we were going to end up here. But many of you are ahead of us. You're already thinking about it. So these are folks that can show you the ropes, help you navigate the place. So I would encourage you to give them a call, make a connection. They won't hard sell you. Well, they might. Most won't. And more quickly, you can get a great sense of this place if you'll do that. All right, as we approach this bridge and get back to the car, we're going to say goodbye. Hope you'll come and visit. My usual warning, be careful. If you come and visit, you might want to stay.
Thanks for watching Hot Springs Village Inside Out. You'll find all our episodes at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com or on YouTube.